everybody! Now, I don't know if you remember my video last week. This is me teaching you how to cook something that I don't know how to cook. Welcome to the Vegan Brit. But this week, I am going to truly outdo myself because not only have I not made this particular recipe before, I don't actually have a recipe. So, let's see how this turns out. Hi everybody, welcome to the Vegan Brit. This week I'm going to attempt another mac and cheese recipe. Now, one of my earlier videos was mac and cheese, which I made exactly the same way as I would make a traditional dairy mac and cheese, but I just substituted the cheese and the milk with non-dairy versions. And since then I've watched a lot of videos, and there's a recipe by the wonderful Tabitha Brown where she makes vegan mac and cheese with butternut squash and potatoes. Yes, I am going to use a cheese substitute in this, but I think it's good to try out different recipes and not stick to the same recipe and keep exploring and keep discovering things. And I'm very curious to know how this is going to go. And also if I can attempt a recipe that, well, it's not really a recipe, I'm kind of just, guys, all I have is a TikTok video. That's all I have. And there is another YouTuber called Vegan Region. Please go and check her out. I love her videos. Her editing is always very entertaining and she's wonderful and brilliant to watch. Go and check out her channel. But she did a video a few weeks ago where she ate nothing but Tabitha Brown's TikTok recipes for 24 hours. And one of the recipes that she tried was Tabitha Brown's mac and cheese. So with the help of her video and Tabitha's video, I'm gonna make the mac and cheese today, but I'm gonna weigh everything. And whatever I make today, you will have a recipe. At the moment, there is no recipe for Tabitha Brown's mac and cheese. So, exclusive, I'm going to attempt to figure out the recipe. Tabitha's a seasoned pro, she doesn't need to weigh stuff out, but I'm gonna weigh it out for you and for me. Fingers crossed, let's see how this goes. For your Tabitha Brown vegan mac and cheese, you're gonna need some macaroni. I'm also making this for my sister, who is not only allergic to wheat and dairy, but also nuts, which is another reason why I'm using a mac and cheese recipe that has a lot of, vegan cheese, because a lot of the other recipes that I looked at had cashews in them, and I'm quite fond of her, so I don't want to give her nuts. So I'm going to be using gluten-free macaroni. Potatoes, all the potatoes, half of the potatoes, I don't know, we'll see. Butternut squish. I know it's butternut squash, I'm just being silly. Actually, this video should be really fun because I baked a whole load of cookies for my camping trip. Let me show you. I'm going camping for a few days and someone's giving me a lift and I'm paying him in cookies. So these are mostly for him, and I know that some of them are burnt, but it doesn't matter, they still all taste great. But I've had about 2 or 3 of these and I don't really normally eat sugar, so nutritional yeast, unsweetened yogurt, dairy-free spread. Yes, FLORA BUTTERY is vegan. Vegan cheddar and vegan mozzarella, or any 2 kinds of vegan cheese probably would be fine. Garlic powder, veggie stock cubes, oregano, thyme, and smoked paprika. Okay. Praying to the vegan gods, let this turn out okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is chop up my butternut squash and my potatoes. I don't know how much, but I'm going to do equal amounts of both, and I don't want to feed an army, so I'm just gonna, let's just weigh it, let's just see. I've weighed this out and all of these potatoes out, and they're about 250 grams each, so I'm gonna stick with that. I'm just gonna chop them up, put them to boil, and then there's not much I can do until that finishes, so that's what I'm gonna do. So in here I've got my butternut squash and my potato, and I've put in a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of oregano, and just gonna bring that to a boil and drain it and mash it, and then add in all my other stuff. Just to prove that this is real life, I measured out the mozzarella cheese and the cheddar cheese, and then look what happened. I am my what, Mum?
Mother's daughter.
I am my mother's daughter. Look at me now, look. Look at my leggings, look at my socks, covered in cheese. Look! Oh my days. This is what happens when I have sugar. It's like I've got a hamster running around inside me. It makes my hands shaky. It's not good for me, but it tastes good, so first world problems for sure. Progress report. What's happening now is, look over my shoulder. I can't be bothered to flip the camera. I've got my butternut squash and my potatoes boiling away here. It's taking quite a long time for the butternut squash to soften up, but I've got time. It's fine. And then I've got my pasta in here boiling away, my macaroni. And apparently you're supposed to wait for the water to boil before you put the macaroni in, and it's all stuck to the bottom. So I'm gonna deal with that. But you know, the journey might be difficult. The journey might throw up challenges. As long as everything's fine at the destination, like Lord of the Rings, all ended well for them, didn't it? If it ended well for Frodo, there's hope for my mac and cheese. Right, just tasted the butternut squash here, and I think it's soft enough to drain, so I'm gonna do that, and then everything's ready to make my cheese sauce. Okay. Right, so I'm just gonna add the yogurt as well. So this is just, oh my gosh, it's steaming up. So this is just the butternut squash, the potato, yogurt, some butter, and mashing it up. And I'm gonna add in what else have I got? I'm gonna put my cheese in and the veggie broth, and then give it a taste. Oh, and the nooch. Don't forget the nooch. Right, I've also added my garlic powder, nutritional yeast, the cheese, and pour in my veggie stock, might as well. And gonna give that a mix and see how it goes. The cheese sauce is done and it tastes really good. I'm just gonna approach with caution because I don't want it to be I don't want to put too much cheese in there, I don't want it to be too runny. I'll just change the measurements on the recipe, and the recipe will be accurate, the recipe down below, so don't worry, trust me, it will be fine. So this is ready to go in the oven till the cheese is melted, I guess, and then I'll be ready to eat. And while the macaroni and cheese is cooking, I just want to document the aftermath. Wow, look at that. It's still bubbling, look. It's just come out of the oven. It looks great. Wait for it to cool down a bit, and then I'm gonna see what it tastes like. Okay, so we have a problem. I'm just editing this video and I realised that the last part of the video where I taste it and tell you how brilliant it tastes, which it did taste brilliant, didn't record because I think my phone ran out of space. So I'm just recording this to say that it tasted fantastic, and I appreciate that there was a lot of vegan cheese in it, but if you were going to make a typical macaroni and cheese, you would put a lot of cheese in it anyways. Definitely not a health recipe. It's not a health food just because it's vegan, but it's a treat, it's comfort food, and I had mine with a big dollop of ketchup. That might freak some of you out, but I can't really eat mac and cheese without either ketchup or, funnily enough, vegetable curry. Macaroni and cheese and vegetable curry is really, really good. I put a lot of effort into keeping tabs on how much of different things I weighed out, and because I'm a geek, I weighed out the amount of cheese sauce that I didn't use in the recipe, so that all the measurements down below are going to be correct. It got everywhere. I've got cheese sauce on my sleeve as well. So please show your appreciation at the fact that I've given you the recipe to the wonderful Tabitha Brown's mac and cheese by giving me a thumbs up, subscribing if you haven't. Leave me a comment below if there's anything that you want me to make vegan. I actually made this mac and cheese from a comment made on my last video where somebody wanted a mac and cheese recipe. I do already have one, but like I said, it's nice to try different recipes and to see which ones are good, and I really like this one. Give it a go, let me know how it goes for you, and I will see you all next week. Bye! Give that like button a hit and subscribe to the Vegan Brit.